What would you do if you found out your favorite sandwich joint had been serving more than you bargained for? Rumors swirled around Joe Metheny, a Baltimore man whose disturbing crimes in the 1990s still leave people uneasy today. He targeted vulnerable women, confessed to murders no one knew about, and even claimed he ground up human remains to mix into the food he sold. Was that true, or just another way to keep control through fear? Either way, his story is one of the darkest and most unsettling in American crime history.
Hello, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Bazaar. I'm Montana.
And I'm Jessica.
And if you're new here,
We've been waiting for you. That almost sounded like a metal song.
Kinda.
Waiting for you. I missed
Love
my
it.
calling. Damn it.
Listen, I'm trying to get you to do more with your music, so your calling is not missed. Stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I would have been a good metal singer, though. I don't think I have the talent for that. And I hear that it's really rough on your vocal cords.
I can see that.
Yeah. So what a week. What another blessed week that we've had in our world.
Well, Jessica just had a happy birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm the ripe old age of 43.
I feel like I barely seen you.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you took this week off work.
Yep, I took the week off work and immediately got sick. So that was great. So my whole week off, I've been sleeping pretty much. And we're doing this on an off day. Like we normally record on Tuesdays and it's Friday, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, some of us had to slave away at work today and then just got right on the computer and was like, let's go.
Well, I slaved away for us today. Trying to get back on track.
Well, last week I didn't see you either because I just didn't see you. You were at work and our schedules didn't line up. And I saw you one time.
I feel like that happens so much.
I know. What was the thing I said to you too when I first saw you? Like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, we not even in passing, we haven't been seeing each other
No.
at work. It's like our appointments are completely staggered. So when I come out, she's already in a massage, and when she comes out, I'm in another massage.
It's been rough. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
I know. It's been a very strange couple of weeks. Very strange.
It's been a harsh week for me too. My low back went out.
Just cannot catch a break around here. I think I was having sympathy pains for you. Because after we had our long discussion about all the stretches you should try to do that I was trying to explain, the next day I woke up and my sciatica was flared up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this must be sympathy pains.
I can't tell which one it is. Such a good massage therapist here, because sometimes it's the side of my glute that goes down to my leg and I'm like, okay, that's sciatic pain, and then it's my low back when I get up and down, that's back pain. I'm like, which one is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a mystery. You need to have some
all the
muscle
above
testing done.
With everything going on, I have which we'll talk about one day. It's massage therapist, just not the career for me. It's making my job so much harder for all the stuff I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I couldn't do it, that's for sure. So I had something weird happen today.
What?
So I've been out of commission, so I'm behind on literally every aspect of my life pretty much, including chores and things like that. So today I've had more energy than I have. So I was trying to get some stuff done outside a little bit, and I have some furniture that I want to take to Goodwill, and I was just kind of cleaning up leaves and stuff that's starting to fall out there. And these little chipmunks have moved in. Well, they moved in years and years ago into our little dryer vent that goes out and blows out all the hot air, and they have taken it apart and to crawl in there. So I was like cleaning it out and putting it back together, like putting the little flaps back on. And I started to sweep the debris off the porch. And I was like, did I just see something shiny? And so I looked in my mulch where I was kind of sweeping the dust away, and I saw the nose ring that I've been looking for like 6 months. Like, what the hell? It was in the dryer vent? How is that possible? Like, did one of those little chipmunks find it? Like, did I drop it and they carried it in there because they like shiny things? Like, what?
Okay, Snow White. I don't
It
know.
was just the most odd thing, but it was so great because it's my favorite nose ring, and I was so bummed when I lost it, and there it was.
See, you're blessed.
Hey, things are turning around, baby.
Actually, no, that reminds me that something weird happened today too. Because remember, I just said, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
Yeah.
So before I got in the car, I was like thinking the last time I saw you in person, and I'm like thinking of that's what I said to you. So once I get in the car, I guess what the first song comes on.
No way.
Yep, Disturbed, Sound of Silence, the "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
So
It's
this
like,
is
what the heck?
shit like this has been happening so much now, it's like jogging my memory. You know how I told you it's been a while ago that Tony and I were having weird synchronicities with that show we were watching? It's
Yeah,
happening again. So like, yeah, things that he randomly says, are saying on the show, like the most random shit. Like, for example, he was talking about, I don't know, something political that we don't want to really get into here, but he was talking about a certain person. Um, I don't know the saying. It's something about being born on third base, but acting like you hit a triple. I think that's the saying.
I've never
And
heard that saying.
literally last night we're watching Sneaky Pete right now. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, move
But
on to Squid Games already.
I know. But the guy that plays Walter White is in the
I
show.
love him.
Yeah, so that makes it worth watching right there. And he's such a phenomenal actor. But
Bryan
he said it.
Cranston or something.
I don't know what his last name is. But yeah, he literally said it word for word. And then as soon as he said that, he said word for word something else that Tony had said in the same exact conversation, like about having silver spoons up his ass or something. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I
You
guess
asked Tony, like, have you secretly watched this before?
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, have you? But he hasn't. It's just so odd. So odd. But that's crazy that happened to you too. That's so creepy when songs come on like that.
I know, I was just thinking it too.
Wow.
And it was the first one. And I was like, "Hello, darkness." And I'm like, what the heck? I was just thinking about Jessica.
Aw. That could be my theme song.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah. Oh man.
We're just living a blessed life over here.
Yeah,
Um, also, you have your phone on you right now?
I do.
So if we first got on here, Jessica froze, and so she had to restart her computer because we have all the difficulties doing
Mhm.
this. And I'm gonna send you the picture of what it froze on because you look evil AF, like
Ooh.
you're diabolical. So I'm sending it right now.
My inner, like, how I'm actually feeling was coming out. I'm like,
Yeah,
gotta be kidding me.
let me know if you get it.
Okay. Are you sending it through text? Oh,
Yeah, I just delivered.
oh, I need to turn my sound off. Profesh.
Tell me that does not look evil.
I look sinister. Yeah,
You do look
like I'm
sinister.
up to absolutely no good.
I know. And the first moment you got on, you have red on, and it just looked like red silk. And I'm just not used to you wearing red. I'm used to you wearing black.
Yeah, I've been busting out all the colors lately on here. No, I
I
have
see the
black and
plaid now.
yeah.
I see the plaid. It literally just looked like red silk. So I literally called you Hugh Hefner.
I wish I had a red silk robe. Shoot.
So
So
it's been a
one,
day.
it's been a
It's been a
week.
day.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, go on, go on.
just I went down a rabbit hole this week because I couldn't really do anything else. And there's something wrong with me because I can fall asleep to like the darkest stuff and I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I fall
So
asleep
can
to listening
I.
to true crime all the time, but this week I was actually obsessing over learning more about 9/11. And so I was watching all like there's an incredible documentary that National Geographic did and interviewed a lot of the survivors and everything, and I was just going down that rabbit hole, and it was just,
Talk about
oh
conspiracy.
my gosh. I didn't go into any of that. I just wanted to see it from like no conspiracies, none of that stuff. I just wanted to see like what happened, what people went through.
It's very sad. Like
It's
when
crazy.
I was there, like with the memorial and stuff, you can see quotes
Hmm.
that people have said to their loved ones before they died, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, there was a video specifically about like their final phone calls from the tower. Oh my gosh, gut wrenching.
It
But
is heartbreaking.
the reason I bring it up is, and I can't remember the woman's name off the top of my head, but it may be a future video for us to do because out of all of that came a true crime um,
Out of the nine
case.
11 doc?
I was just kind of, scrolling through looking for more documentaries to watch and I stumbled upon this. Apparently this woman um she she was a doctor, I believe, and she is considered a victim, one of the victims of 9/11 because she went missing at the same time, but people believe like she went
Oh.
missing the night before. So they think that something else actually happened to her. And because she was planning on going to the restaurant that was at the top of the towers the next day when it on 9/11, but the last time she was seen was on CCTV footage the night before, and she was shopping in like a little boutique or something, and then when she left the boutique she was never seen again. Like she didn't go home to her husband, she didn't call anybody, she didn't use her phone, and then 9/11 happened and they just considered her one of the victims, but people believe that that's not what happened. So I was like, huh,
Interesting.
never heard of this, and I wish that I could remember her name. If you
You can
know.
probably just Google it too. Yeah. If you know, email us at weeklybizarrepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. So yeah,
Good
that
luck with
was
that.
maybe something we can do in the future, because I do love those mysteries that can get us speculating like what may have happened. And
Yeah.
then
I don't know it. I don't know that story.
yeah, I'd never heard of it before. I wish I could remember her name. Anyway, so today is going to be trigger warning. Don't eat while you're listening to this. If you're eating, if you're especially eating a sandwich, put that sucker down because this gets weird. And that's all I'm going to
Welcome
say.
to Weekly
From
Bazaar.
here on, it's on you if you end up puking or getting sick or something because you didn't put your sandwich down. Are you ready to get into it?
Yes, because I'm so confused.
So I had never heard of this case either. And
This is why I'm confused.
I'm working on a deep dive. And since I was going to be taking a week off, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to have to be doing research the whole week because my deep dive is going to be maybe
It's going to be
three
good. It's going to be
parts.
good.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a shorter story this week. And so I was looking for stuff and stumbled upon this guy. I'm like, what the heck? So I will put this out there first before I get into it. This man, Joseph, it's either Metheny or Metheny. I've heard it both ways. I'm going to say Metheny, so don't come for me. But he's a liar. Like he just likes to spew or liked to spew and spew and spew all these things that he allegedly did. He did murder people. I mean, he was convicted and we'll get into all of that. But he claims that there were a lot more victims than they charged him for, and that he did a lot darker shit to those victims than what he was ultimately sentenced for. So whether it's true or not, I don't know. Not sure. And a lot of his story is a little murky because of that. So I did my best. And there's my disclaimer.
I mean, it could go either way. Either he was bragging about it, they didn't get caught, or some serial killers claim they killed more than they actually did to like make them badder than they really are.
Yeah.
He's a loser either way, so.
Yeah, he sucks. Get my face in still frame when I said that.
I'm going to make your face our new profile picture.
And put your little growl from that one episode on.
Oh my God.
On repeat in the background.
My vampire growl.
Your chihuahua growl.
It's not what I was going for. Speaking of vampire, I hope you liked your last episode. Shine bright like a diamond.
Oh, you can't take us anywhere.
Why would you?
It just cause problems.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to good old JoJo here. He's not called JoJo. I don't know why I said that. Okay, so Joseph Roy Metheny was born on March 2nd, 1955, in Baltimore, Maryland. He was one of 6 children born to his parents, Audra Errol and Jean B. Elliott Metheny. From the
That's
beginning,
a name.
I know, Jean B. From the beginning, Joe would go on to claim that his childhood was marked by neglect, instability, and hardship. According to him, his father was an alcoholic and his mother was so absent that he and his siblings were forced to bounce from house to house, living with other families in arrangements that resembled foster care. He said that instead of going through the system, his mother would simply pay people to watch over the children for long periods of time, meaning that Joe and his siblings had no real sense of stability. And this is basically where the lying begins, like all the way back to his childhood. According
So
to
do we
his
believe
mother.
it?
No. I
We don't believe it?
I believe his mom. I mean, like the saying goes, there are always 3 sides to a story. There's one person's side, the other person's side, and the truth.
The truth.
So it's probably somewhere in the middle, I'd say. But it doesn't sound like it was all that bad. I mean, if the worst part was probably that he and his siblings just they didn't have a lot of time with their mom and dad.
Was his siblings interviewed?
Not that I could find.
No.
Mm-mm. No,
They probably don't want any association.
Right. No, the only thing I could find was his mom. And then, like, I'll keep going. His father passes away when he was pretty young. So his mother strongly disputed his version of events. In her eyes, Joe's childhood was far more normal than he described. She admitted that times were difficult, especially after Joe's father died in a car accident when Joe was only 6 years old. That tragedy left her as the sole provider for 6 children, and she was forced to work 2 or even 3 jobs at a time just to keep the family afloat. She readily acknowledged that she wasn't home very often, but she insisted that her children were never without a roof over their heads or food on the table. In fact, she even described Joe as having a normal and happy childhood, at least as happy as could be expected given their circumstances. So
I
that's,
mean, if there's like you're right. Like there's two sides where like, well, she was never home and always paid people to watch us, and she's probably like, well, I had to work to
mm-hmm.
support you or something. That's why I was never home. You had 6 children.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids, man. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
So
One
the
mouth
truth
to
probably
feed
is,
is hard.
yeah. So maybe it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. She would go further, pointing out that Joe was actually a very bright child, and this is something that most people will say about him is he's like actually very intelligent and actually very charismatic and reliable. Like he's like a double person. It's so weird.
Like most serial killers, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he was a very bright child. She said he was an above average student, intelligent, polite, and well spoken. He had shown promise early on, and she was proud of how smart he was. The detail that seemed to bother her most, however, was his repeated claim that he and his siblings had been passed around to foster families. To her, this was a complete fabrication. She was adamant that none of her children were ever placed into foster care or shuffled around to strangers' homes, and she appeared hurt by Joe's insistence on portraying his upbringing in such a way. By 1973, Joe's life began to take a difficult turn. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the military. His mother would later say that this was the point at which their relationship really began to fall apart. She noticed that after he joined, they drifted apart more and more, and eventually their connection all but collapsed. Joe himself would later claim that he served in Vietnam. This is another one of those, he's lying because, like, what? And he spoke as though the experience had deeply affected him. But this is where his story starts to get murky. According to his mother, he was only ever stationed in Germany, and official military records have never verified that he was deployed to Vietnam at all. In fact, American involvement in Vietnam had largely wound down by that time, which makes his claim even more doubtful. Like, pretty much all troops were pulled out at that point. I think there was like a handful still there.
Do you think he's someone that believes his own lies?
Definitely. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. I think he probably feels that he's that convincing or something. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's probably lost touch with most of reality at some point or another because he does a lot of drugs. So,
That'll do it.
yeah. Nonetheless, Joe remained convinced that he had been in Vietnam. Whether it was a fabrication or a distorted memory, it was a story he stuck to for the rest of his life. Regardless of where he was stationed, one thing is certain. During his time in the military, Joe fell into heavy drug use. He became addicted to heroin and cocaine, and those addictions would come to define the rest of his life. According to those who knew him, the drugs completely transformed his personality. Once described as intelligent, polite, and even well-mannered, Joe became aggressive, arrogant, and volatile under the influences of narcotics. Friends and acquaintances alike said the drugs were the worst thing that could have happened to him. To anybody, really.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. When he returned home from military service, Joe did not reconnect with his family. Instead, he severed ties and allowed himself to be consumed by his addictions. With nowhere to live, he gravitated towards South Baltimore's homeless community, forming loose bonds with others living on the streets. These groups often gathered in makeshift camps around the area, where drugs and alcohol flowed freely. Joe immersed himself in this world completely. And I don't remember if I put this in there or not, but that area was considered Tent City, I guess. That's what their little homeless area was called. Kind of like a Skid Row of Baltimore, but much smaller scale.
I mean, it
Tent City.
does. I mean, Vietnam or not, that sounds like someone that came back from Vietnam. What happened to them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't believe he went. I just can see PTSD. Maybe he got PTSD in the military. I don't know, but it can really take a toll, especially when you go to drugs and alcohol to numb it, I
Yep.
guess.
By the early 1990s, Metheny was well known among Baltimore's homeless population. His drug abuse and volatile temper earned him a reputation within those circles. Yet, oddly enough, in professional settings, he presented a very different image. Employers and coworkers often described him as dependable, well mannered, and intelligent. Despite being deeply entrenched in drug addiction, he managed to hold down steady work. He spent much of his time working in lumber yards, usually as a forklift operator. Those who knew him during this time often referred to him by the ironic nickname Tiny,
Oh,
and
God.
he was not tiny.
Okay.
At 6'1" and weighing what reports describe as morbidly obese, I think it was like 460 some pounds.
Oh, he's a big
He's a
boy.
big boy. Big boy. Joe
Oh,
was,
my God.
yeah, he was anything but tiny, and the name stuck as a mocking sort of joke. Despite his imposing size, he often spent his days in bars or alongside groups of homeless men at South Baltimore's encampments. Much of the money he earned was spent on heroin, crack cocaine, and alcohol, reportedly a bottle of Southern Comfort each night, fueling the addictions that had taken control of his life. Could you imagine what your liver would look like if you had a bottle of Southern Comfort every night? Ooh.
Imagine what the insides of your body looks like if you're doing drugs and that every night.
How can you? I don't know how you can function. And he was reporting to work every day like that. Ugh.
I mean, maybe the alcohol didn't affect him for being so huge.
And like maybe
I don't know.
mixing it with uppers, like it doesn't, the hangover's not as bad. I don't know. You'd think it'd be worse.
I mean, the fact that he was homeless, did that, and still had a steady job.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see that every day.
Yeah.
Well, he
So
had to pay for his addictions, I guess.
exactly. So this double existence, outwardly dependable and intelligent to employers, but deeply violent, addicted, and unpredictable within his personal circles, set the stage for the darkness that was to come. And by 1994, Joseph Roy Metheny appeared to be living in a relatively stable, if troubled, life. He was with his girlfriend, and this part's a little murky, so I did my best. So he was with his girlfriend, sometimes described as his wife in different reports, and together, so I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend or what. And together they had a 6-year-old son, and the exact details of the child's parentage remain unclear. So they're not sure if it was actually his son or if she already had this child and he just kind of took him in as a son.
Great.
So, yeah, either way, Joe raised him as his own and referred to him as his son.
Was she homeless too?
She was. I couldn't find her name. I couldn't find the little boy's name. There are a lot of names I couldn't find. They definitely lived the same lifestyle.
So she did drugs?
Yes. And I'm pretty certain she was a sex worker. I don't know if she was during their relationship, but I know that she was after, and probably that's how they met, I would say.
Lady of the night?
Yes. A lady of the night.
Oh, 1994. I wonder if she knows Eileen Wuornos.
Mm.
Just kidding. Eileen was in Florida.
Maybe she passed through.
No comment.
So Metheny had managed to maintain steady employment as a truck driver, which provided just enough income to keep a smaller trailer as their home. Despite their addictions, it gave the small family some sense of stability. But both Joe and his girlfriend were heavy users of heroin and crack cocaine, and that lifestyle had already begun to unravel what little normalcy that they had. One night in 1994, Metheny returned home from a long truck driving haul. It was late when he stepped into the trailer, expecting to see his partner and son. Instead, he was greeted by silence in an empty space. The furniture was gone, the belongings stripped from the home. His girlfriend had left him, taking their son with her and clearing out the place. That's messed up. But
I'm gonna guess that's her son
yeah,
before.
yeah. And he was probably an a-hole to her. And she probably just had enough.
I mean, you can't blame her.
Yeah. For Metheny, the shock was immediate and crushing. On top of the emotional blow, he knew his girlfriend was an addict like him. He assumed she had left for another man, and he became fixated on the idea that she and his son were now living among the homeless and addicts on the street of Baltimore. Whether or not this was true, it became his obsession. Friends and acquaintances would later recall that this was the moment Joe seemed to suffer a complete psychological break. Something inside him snapped. The abandonment, coupled with his addictions and volatile nature, pushed him past the point of no return. And in the weeks that followed, he began spending all of his time scouring Baltimore in search of his girlfriend and child. So as soon as he was done with work, he's out on the streets looking for them. And he was, I think, convinced that she went back into sex work and was like living with her pimp. I think that was kind of his obsession, or maybe some of the other ladies of the night told him that, or told them that they had seen her with this guy. But again, no names. It's all pretty murky.
And he could never find her.
Not to my knowledge, no. Which is a good thing. It's a good thing, because she probably would
Sounds
not
like
have
it.
survived.
No, it sounds like that was his turning point of letting the killer out.
Letting the demons in. He haunted halfway houses, drug dens, and shelters. He combed through homeless encampments where he had once spent time himself, but his obsession focused most sharply on a particular bridge, and this must have been where a lot of drug deals went down. And yeah, so this was a spot well known among Baltimore's addicts, a place where his girlfriend was known to buy and use drugs, and where she spent time with others in her circle. Joe became convinced that if he searched there, he would eventually find her. But Joe didn't just go looking, he went armed. On at least one of these excursions, he carried an axe with him, seemingly prepared for violence if he found her. The implication was chilling. Joe wasn't hoping for reconciliation or even just to confront her. He intended to harm. The thought of him pacing in the dark corners of Baltimore?
Sounds like a Harry Potter name.
Oh, it does. Baltimore.
What's Baltimore's brother? I don't know. I've never gotten to Harry Potter, so
Yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah, the thought of him pacing the dark corners of Baltimore, axe in hand, convinced he would find his girlfriend and their son under a bridge, illustrates just how far into his break he had fallen.
Or maybe like people would lie to him and say, "No, I haven't seen her," because they know he was cuckoo cuckoo.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a part that actually, I think this is after, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think there's a part where he's asking a couple women where if they've seen her, and he doesn't believe them. And that's when I would have been like, oh yeah, I just saw her like that way.
2 seconds ago. She just walked by.
Yeah,
go now, you'll catch her.
Go get her. Yeah.
Oh, that girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be lying. I would be lying.
Same.
So reports differ on the exact details of this period, and I tried to like put it together as best I could. I may have some events mixed up because it was just, I mean, a lot of it was based on his lies. So it's like, who really knows? But I'm pretty sure that I got his killings in the right order.
Gotcha.
So reports differ on the exact details of this period, but what is consistent is that Metheny's behavior spiraled from desperation into something much darker. The loss of his girlfriend and son was a trigger, one that unleashed the violent urges he had kept bottled up. Those who knew him would later describe this as the point at which Metheny's descent into murder truly began. So in 1994, this is the same year, he brutally murdered 39-year-old Kathy Ann Magaziner, and she was a sex worker. That's usually what his target was, which is sadly a lot of times the case.
Yep. I was just about to
killers.
say, usually they always go after the sex workers because I just think they're the easiest mark. And
They are, and they like, even he will say he just figured nobody would even notice that they were gone.
which is so sad in
It's
itself.
terrible. They're people. Like, they came from a family of some kind. Like, there, of course, are people that are going to miss them. And there wasn't really much, like, some of his victims don't have names. And the ones that do, there was so little information about them other than the fact that they were sex workers. And that just, it's so upsetting. It's like,
Because it means they don't care.
yeah. So her name was Kathy Ann Magaziner. And I did find that she, I believe, came from Ohio initially. And she first went out to California because she was an aspiring actress or actor, whatever is PC these days. And then she somehow got into drugs and ended up in Baltimore, Maryland, for whatever the hell reason.
That's a boomerang.
I know, but I couldn't really fill in the dots there. So
somehow she just ended up in Baltimore.
Yep. I wonder if she maybe went to New York, like, if things didn't work out in California, and then just kind of migrated away from New York and ended up there. I don't know. It could have been just through, like, pimps or boyfriends, or I don't know.
Anything.
Yeah.
Could have been like a friend that, like, hey, I know you're struggling. Come stay with me. Get on your feet. It could have been anything like that. Who knows?
Yeah. And unfortunately, her spiral into addiction led her straight to Joe due to her turning to sex work on the streets of Baltimore to pay for her addiction, which is so often the case too. So sad. Reports state that she was sexually assaulted before being killed, and this is something he does to all of his victims first. Metheny buried her body in a shallow grave at one of the work sites connected to the pallet company where he was employed at that time. So this pallet company was owned by a crook, and he wasn't to the level of Joe. Like, he wasn't a murderer or anything, but he was like
a dirty guy.
Yeah, his operations weren't legit. And he actually ends up being under investigation when they come for Joe, and he kind of gets mixed up in it, but then I think gets acquitted for these charges. But
did he know about the murders?
I don't think so. It doesn't seem like it, no. But he was letting Joe live in a trailer on the property of his business. So he was kind of like in the parking lot in his little trailer. And this is where he would have the women come in. They'd, like, under the guise of doing drugs or whatever, hanging out. And then he'd assault them and kill them and then bury them in the woods next to where he worked. Allegedly.
That's a little too close to home.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound like he even tried very hard to hide them. Like, it's always shallow graves, and I don't know.
Maybe he wanted to get caught, or he was just lazy and thought he never would.
I think he was arrogant. I think he just thought he could get away with
a very common theme of
anything.
Killers.
Yeah.
God complex.
So this is where things get weird. So what makes this crime even more disturbing is what happened 6 months later. Metheny returned to the burial site, dug up her remains, and decapitated her. He placed her head in a box and discarded discarded it in a trash bin before reburying her in the same shallow grave. Now, after I had already typed this up, I was just kind of going back over and looking to see if I missed anything. And I actually watched another dude's documentary on this. It was pretty short, but he said that after the reason he did this was to get her head so that he could do sexual things to it. And then he kept it in a box as like a trophy.
What's in the box?
I'm a dick in a box.
But that was 6 months. She had to be super decomposed. That's disgusting.
It's nasty. Yeah. Yeah, and then to just put her right back where he in the shallow grave and cover her up again. Like, what the heck?
So not only you like degraded her before she died, you did it after her death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
What
makes
a
me
loser.
wonder because I feel like with these 6 months he didn't do anything. And then maybe that was like his fuel to get back out there and start doing
Like an urge,
it again. Yeah.
like a high. It's like a new drug.
Like that wasn't enough. Like he thought maybe that would be enough to do that. And it just fueled him even more to continue on.
Ugh, that is so disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
It wouldn't be until his later arrest that he would be convicted of this murder. So he got away with this one for a few years.
Reminds me of Ed Kemper because Ed Kemper did that to his mom.
Oh, yeah.
If you know, you know.
Jeez.
And that was his mother.
Yeah. Twisted.
He literally did the same thing.
Twisted. In the aftermath of losing his girlfriend and son, Joe Metheny's obsession of anger drove him to the places he believed they would be. So it's like after he killed this chick, I think is when he was really like he's still obsessing over them.
So 6 months later, he's still searching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she must have been really doing a good job of covering her tracks.
Well, he must have did something that scared her and her child where she probably left the state.
I was thinking that too. Like maybe she just got the hell out of there.
Because if it's a small town, I feel like tent city or whatever you want to call it, you're going to know the community there. And so someone has to have seen her.
Yep.
So I think she went in hiding.
Yep. I think so. So yeah, he kept going back to that same bridge periodically just to see if he would perhaps run into her. And one night, he approached the bridge armed with his axe. And as he came closer, he spotted 2 men standing underneath, Randall Brewer and Randy Piker. In his mind, these men weren't just strangers, they were gatekeepers of information. He convinced himself that they knew where his girlfriend was, and he was determined to force the truth out of them.
So they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep. Metheny, and he's all hyped up after doing whatever he did with his first victim's head.
Did he put the head in the box back to the gravesite?
No, like the one guy said he put it in a box and kept it, and then what I had found before I saw that was that he just got rid of it, like threw it away after he was done with it. But then I'm pretty sure that he didn't, because I think that's how they ended up identifying who she was through her dental records. So
I think he kept it.
It's all over the place. It could have been a lie.
I think he, yeah, but I think he would have kept it.
Yeah, as a trophy.
Especially when all that trouble to go back, unbury it, cut it off, bury it back up, and then bring that. That's a lot of work for something to just throw away.
Yep.
That's so gross.
Yeah, I know. Ugh. Metheny stormed up, swinging the axe in the air and in a threatening manner, demanding to know where his ex-girlfriend and son were. The 2 men, terrified, insisted they had no idea who he was talking about. So, like, they didn't even know who he was talking about. They
That's
pleaded
where
with
you come
him.
in and be like, yeah. She went 5 seconds that way. Go get her.
Exactly. They pleaded with him, swearing they hadn't seen her and didn't know anything about her whereabouts. But Metheny was already too far gone. Whether they lied or told the truth, it likely wouldn't have mattered. In his state of rage, he had already decided what was going to happen. Allegedly, got to put that in there because, again, this is coming from the liar's mouth. Metheny flew into a violent frenzy. He turned on Randy and Randall, hacking at them with the axe until both were dead. These men had simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Exactly what you said earlier. Caught in the crosshairs.
Synchronicities.
Yep. Caught in the crosshairs of Metheny's obsession. It is important to note, however, that Joe would later claim it had nothing to do with his girlfriend, but that he knew the two had $300 in cash on them and that he killed them to take that.
I doubt it.
Yeah. He just doesn't want to
He was
seem
on
pathetic.
drugs, and because he could have done both. He could have robbed them, and then he could have done both.
Yeah. But apparently his actions that night did not end there. And again, this is another one of those murky areas. There's a lot of murk. But according to Metheny's later confessions, a fisherman happened to be nearby and had witnessed what had happened, or at least Metheny convinced himself that the man had seen too much. To eliminate the threat, Metheny turned his rage on him as well. Allegedly, he murdered the fisherman with the axe, silencing another innocent bystander. After the killings, Metheny reportedly dragged the bodies to the river and dumped them. By discarding them in the water, he effectively destroyed the physical evidence that could tie him to the crime. Without bodies, there was no DNA, no forensics, and no crime scene that police could properly investigate. Despite his efforts, Metheny still found himself under suspicion. He was arrested and charged with the murders, spending roughly 18 months in the county jail as prosecutors attempted to build a case. But with no bodies, no witnesses willing to testify, and no solid evidence, the charges couldn't hold. And in the end, Metheny was acquitted and released back to the streets.
So they never found the bodies?
Never found the bodies. Nope. So this would prove to be a devastating failure of justice. What should have been the end of Metheny's violent trajectory instead became only the beginning.
He's definitely spiraling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Especially if he spent all that time away, locked up.
Exactly.
Probably made things worse.
You are so right. Joe Metheny's 18 months behind bars for the alleged murders by the bridge should have been a turning point in his life. He had narrowly escaped conviction, and you might imagine that the time spent awaiting trial sober, forced to reflect on what he'd done, would have steered him back toward a different path, but it didn't. If anything, prison only confirmed something darker inside him, how much he enjoyed killing and how much he missed it. He later admitted that what he learned in jail wasn't remorse, wasn't discipline, but that he had a taste for murder and wanted more.
So he's a sociopath.
Yeah. When Metheny was released, he had no intention of leaving violence behind. Instead, he returned to Baltimore more fixated than ever on finding his ex-girlfriend and their young son. I'm like, dude, just let it go already. God.
Very addictive personality.
By this point, his obsession had twisted into paranoia and rage. He still believed that they were living on the streets somewhere among the homeless and addicts, and in his mind, every stranger he encountered might know where they were hiding. Ugh.
It's not good.
Just what that stress alone
safe.
was doing to him. Like, he's doing this to himself and just enraging himself.
I know, but like, why would it not occur to him that maybe she moved out of state?
Yeah. Maybe he just didn't think she had the means to do that. I don't know.
He probably beat her, like raped her every night or something.
Probably. It wasn't long before this obsession led him to two women, sex workers who he became convinced had information about his ex and child. Metheny harassed and threatened them, demanding answers they simply couldn't give. Couldn't find their names, unfortunately. When their terrified denials failed, which could mean that this is a lie, who knows? When their terrified denials failed to satisfy him, his temper exploded. In a brutal frenzy, Metheny murdered both the women. At first, he considered using his old method of disposal, dumping the bodies into the river where they would vanish without a trace. But this time, he devised something far more gruesome and depraved. Put down your sandwiches. He dragged...
Which I don't understand how the bodies were never found if it's true, because bodies bloat. They'll go to the surface. Like, I don't understand. They got to wash up somewhere.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things, though, like, were these people just not important enough? Because they were a couple of homeless men from the streets of Baltimore.
Or he made up the story.
Yeah, which is very possible.
Spent time in jail for nothing. Like, not for nothing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they actually did go missing, though, because I think that there was another person that was convicted of their murder based on, like, the word on the street or something like that. And I know that there was, like, a knife that was involved that didn't end up being the murder weapon, and it was just it was just a mess. It's just an absolute mess. But I do believe that they actually did go missing and just were never found. So I don't know. I don't know if he did it and just took credit for somebody else's work. I don't know. So this time he devised something far more gruesome and depraved. He dragged the bodies back to his trailer and began to dismember them, separating the flesh from the bone with chilling precision. Metheny kept what he described as the meatiest parts of the bodies, the thighs, the buttocks, the muscle, and placed them in Tupperware containers, which he stored neatly in his freezer. The rest of the remains he disposed of more traditionally, holding them in the truck lot connected to the pallet company where he worked.
Ugh.
I know. Over the following weeks, Metheny began experimenting. He mixed the flesh of his victims with real beef and pork, grinding it together to form patties. He described them as his neat little burgers, or his neat little patties. I saw two different...
So he's a cannibal now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he was eating them. I'll continue.
Oh, God. Please don't.
His neat little patties, or his neat little burgers. I saw two different versions.
It's still the same thing. A patty's a burger. It's still the same thing.
Yeah. Indistinguishable from any other meat once cooked, according to him. In his own words, I guess he did. Or he's just basing this off of, like, I'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. In his own words, human flesh tasted nearly identical to pork, so much so that he believed no one would ever suspect a thing. So I guess he was taking some bites. Soon, Metheny put his horrifying plan into practice. He set up a roadside food stand, a little open pit barbecue. Stop. I'm sorry, I warned you.
Oh, God.
A little open pit barbecue stop that catered mainly to truckers and travelers passing through the area. He advertised real roast beef and pork sandwiches, cooked over a smoker and served hot to customers. For weeks, perhaps even months, Metheny sold his concoctions to unsuspecting passersby. People bought them, ate them, and came back for more. By all accounts, no one ever complained about the taste. In fact, Metheny later boasted that his customers loved the sandwiches. To him, this meant his plan was working flawlessly. He was hiding the evidence of his murders in plain sight, one bite at a time. I had to. I'm sorry. Every person who bought a sandwich became, without knowing it, a living hiding place for the remains of his victims.
In their bellies.
In their toilet. Eventually. I'm sorry. I told you guys to stop eating. I warned you. Now it's on you.
Reminds me of Billy Madison with the lunch lady, you know, and she was like, here's some sloppy Joe for you. Extra sloppy. Ugh.
Sloppy Joe. Sloppy
Sloppy
Joe.
Joe.
We're going to burn in
Thanks to
hell.
you, I had that song stuck in my head for like a week. Just be random like sloppy Joe.
I told
Sloppy
Montana
Joe.
what I was going to be doing. That was the first. She sent me a gif of Chris Farley and his lunch lady.
He was kicking his little lunch lady feet. Down on lunch lady land.
Big bowl. Oh my gosh, he was so great.
He's like dancing with the sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe.
I think the best part of that skit was the fact that Adam Sandler couldn't hold it together. Like, he just kept laughing.
How could you? Chris Farley is hilarious.
He's like swinging his head around up next to his face.
R.I.P. Chris Farley.
Yeah. I'm about to lose my bun.
Too soon.
My hair is...
You know, he died at like 33, like some young age. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Because like back then you're like, he was like 40, he died. And it's like, no, he was a young guy. Sorry, I just keep thinking about Sloppy Joe, and that's like when you're talking about it's all I can see.
And that's his name. His name's
I wonder
Joe.
if that's why they... I know, but I wonder why they did that in Billy Madison, where she's like, here's some sloppy Joe for you, extra sloppy. So like now I'm like, wait a minute, maybe that's like had to do with sloppy Joe.
Oh, God.
You've seen Billy Madison, right?
Yeah.
You know, I just found out where he's playing dodgeball with the kids and he's like slamming the ball into them. Like he really did that.
Shame.
And the parents got mad and they had to... What they filmed is what they could film because the kids started crying afterwards.
What an asshole. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it, he's like slamming the dodgeball into them and they're like, oh. I'm like, it's fine. I love Adam Sandler. So I'm like, it's whatever. If my kid got paid a bunch of money, I'm like, just suck it up and let Adam Sandler hit you with a ball. But yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
I don't care. It's fantastic. Go watch it.
I think I had a dog hair stuck in my microphone. It kept tickling my lip. I'm like, what is that?
Sexy. Does Kira have her own podcast on the weekend?
Apparently. Speaking of which, I'm working on a reel that is about her, and it's so stupid and so hilarious. To be
She's
continued.
a killer herself.
Yeah. So Metheny seemed to relish this double life. By day, he was the large, joking man nicknamed Tiny, flipping meat at his roadside pit stop. By night, he lured sex workers back to his trailer under the pretense of offering drugs, only to strangle or beat them once they were inside and assault them.
But like, how do you escalate from sexual assault to cutting off a head to now eating them? Like, you totally went from 0 to 100.
I don't know. And keep in mind, though, like this is all based on his accounts. So this may not have even happened. But
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, he swears up and down that this is what he did. So... At 6'1" and weighing over 450 pounds, Metheny had a terrifying physical advantage over his victims. Once they were dead, the pattern repeated: dismemberment, storing the flesh, mixing it with pork and beef, and then serving it up to unsuspecting strangers. He claimed later that this cycle went on for some time and that the number of victims could have been as high as 10 to 13 people, allegedly. The true figure remains uncertain, but what is known is that Metheny had developed a ritual of killing, butchering, and disposing of bodies through his macabre roadside business. Even more chilling was the matter-of-fact way that he spoke about it afterwards. In interviews, Metheny explained that his earlier killings, such as the men under the bridge, were crimes of passion, acts of rage driven by his obsession with his ex-girlfriend. But over time, he admitted that killing had become something more deliberate, almost recreational. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed the act of murder itself, and he took pride in the cleverness of his disposal methods. So yeah, he was very
It's a new
arrogant.
drug. It's a drug for him.
Yeah, very arrogant about it, very prideful about what he was up to. During his trial, later on down the road, he went so far as to mock the public with a chilling statement. And these are his exact words, quote, "Next time you're driving down the road and see an open pit beef stand you've never seen before, think about this story before you take a bite of that sandwich. Ha ha." End quote. So,
slap it, Joe. Slap it, Joe.
Did he really do this, or was he just fucking with people? I don't know. Either way,
I don't know. Because no one, especially earlier, they're not going to go looking for sex workers.
Exactly. Yeah. So who really knows how many are gone? In mid to late November of 1996, Joe murdered 23-year-old Kimberly Lynn Spicer. So I did get some names for these victims. So I think ultimately these are the ones he gets charged for. He attacked her with a knife, stabbing her 26 times, and sexually assaulted her corpse, and then shoved an empty beer bottle in her vagina before hiding her body at the pallet company grounds where he worked. So he is defiling
Jesus.
these women after they're dead. Awful.
He's got a lot of anger issues.
Yeah. I mean, 26 times.
This is mommy issues.
Yeah.
And then he's also taking it out on her, leaving him on these victims.
Yes, absolutely. 26 times. That's so horrible.
He's pissed. Yeah, he's mad. That's what called like passion, not axing two men.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like his killings start to get closer and closer together. Like they're getting more and more frequent, which is usually how it works. So the cooling off period between his murders was shrinking, and investigators later noted that he seemed to be growing more reckless and overconfident, convinced he could get away with anything. Less than a month later, on December 8th, 1996, Metheny lured 37-year-old sex worker Gina Lynn Nichols to his trailer under the pretense of sharing drugs, which is what he always did. Once inside, he sexually assaulted her and strangled her to death. Like Spicer, Gina's body was hidden at the pallet company lot. That same day, Metheny also targeted another woman. So he did this and then went out immediately and found another one.
He's also changing the ways he kills them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. It seems like he kind of does it all, but any way it is, it's like extreme, like over the top.
Yeah. Well, he stabbed the last one, then strangled. Which, if you're 6'1", 400 pounds, it's not going to be hard to strangle somebody.
Yeah.
Especially a woman.
And he also has hacked people up with an axe. So it's like everything he does is extreme, over the top. So the same day that he took this other woman's life, Gina, Metheny also targeted another woman, 37-year-old Rita Kemper. Using the same ruse of drugs, which they had done together on many occasions, he coaxed her into his trailer. Once inside, Metheny attempted to rape her, but she resisted. He told her he was going to kill her and bury her in the woods next to the pallet company with the other girls. Rita managed to escape through the trailer window and fled on foot. Metheny chased her but could not catch her because he's not tiny. She ran to safety and alerted authorities. Thank goodness.
Good for you, Gina.
Good job. That had to be terrifying. Metheny, however, was still brazen. After Rita's escape, he attempted to enlist a friend's help in burying Kimberly Spicer's body, which was still hidden on the pallet company property. His friend pretended to go along with him, and I don't have a name for this friend. He probably wanted to remain anonymous, I imagine, since he ultimately went to the police. So on December 15th, 1996, just 1 week after Rita's escape, Metheny was arrested.
A week later?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But according to Joe, he says they came that same day in his series of events. But it was a week before they came after him. At the time of his arrest, rumors circulated that his employer, the owner of the pallet company, was also involved in helping Metheny cover up his crimes. And this is because he was in shady business of his own, like I said earlier. In fact, both men were taken into custody as they were leaving a Christmas party together. Investigators initially suspected the employer of helping to dispose of the bodies, but charges against him were later dropped. Metheny alone was held responsible for the murders. Once in custody, Metheny wasted no time. Detectives said he, quote, sang like a bird, unquote. He immediately started confessing to murders the police hadn't even linked him to, crimes they didn't suspect him of. He admitted to killing Catherine Magaziner back in 1994, telling police that he strangled her, decapitated her corpse after she was already dead, and reburied her body to conceal the evidence. He even led investigators to the shallow grave where she'd been dumped. Though, and this is where I saw two different things. The skull was missing, but eventually they were able to identify her through her dental records. So I don't know where that was. I don't know where her skull was.
Couldn't be missing if they found her dental record.
Yeah, he had to have it like a trophy.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, and that actually did happen because, I mean, he led them to her remains and they didn't even know, which is so sad. They didn't even know that she was missing.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because, I mean, most of these women probably haven't spoken to their families in years, you know? Like, they're probably estranged and they wouldn't notice that they were missing right away. Metheny went on to explain his victim profile. He deliberately targeted vulnerable women, sex workers, drug addicts, and the homeless because, in his words, he believed that, quote, no one would miss them, quote. That justification was chilling. These women were daughters, sisters, mothers, people loved by someone. Just because their lives weren't perfect didn't make them disposable. And hearing Metheny talk about them that way is stomach-turning.
Mm-hmm.
As his confession continued, he grew even more grandiose. He claimed responsibility for the deaths of 2 homeless men under the bridge, saying he'd killed them during his drug-fueled rage. He also told investigators he'd killed 3 more people and dumped their remains in various locations. Police searched, but no remains were ever found. So this is like, did he? This cast doubt on many of Metheny's confessions. Was he inflating his kill count to make himself seem more notorious? Or were oh my goodness, I need to stop talking. Or were there truly more victims out there whose bodies had simply never been recovered? Eventually, Metheny was indicted for multiple murders. He was tried and convicted of the killing of Kimberly Spicer and Catherine Magaziner. He even confessed to killing 3 more women along Washington Boulevard in Baltimore. But again, without physical evidence, prosecutors couldn't bring charges. One detail that remained consistent across all of his confessions was the brutality of his crimes. Every single one of Metheny's known murders involved sexual assault paired with extreme violence. Police confirmed that if he hadn't been caught when he would have continued killing indefinitely. Metheny himself admitted as much. Initially, he was sentenced to death for his crimes. However, in 2000, the Maryland Court of Appeals overturned his sentence, reducing it to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Some people feel that this was a miscarriage of justice, believing death was the only fitting punishment, while others argue that spending the rest of his life in prison was the harsher fate. Yeah, that's always a controversial subject, I feel like. Whether or not you think the death penalty is worse than them rotting in prison, but I don't know.
No, because some people see death the easy way out.
Mm-hmm. But then also some people see them getting to live in a nice temperature-controlled building, being fed, being able to further their education. Like, they shouldn't be able to do those things. So whatever your opinion is of that, we
It's a
respect
very
it.
gray area.
Yeah,
Because I see both.
I do too. At his sentencing, Metheny made no attempt to deny his brutality. Instead, he leaned into it, declaring that he had no remorse and that the word sorry would never leave his mouth because it would be a lie. He admitted that he enjoyed killing, describing it as a rush like no other, and even claimed the only regret he carried was that he didn't get to murder the 2 people he blamed most for his downward spiral, his former partner and her pimp.
But we don't know that.
Yeah, I think this is just his delusion. In court, he told the judge he was more than willing to give up his life, to be judged by God, and to be sent to hell for eternity.
As you should.
Yeah, burn in hell. Serve you up on some sandwiches for the demons down there.
Get the pineapple shoved up your ass every day. Why do I keep referencing Adam Sandler movies?
I don't know.
What is wrong with me?
Despite his repeated statements that he deserved execution, along with his reduced sentence of 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole, he also received a 50-year sentence for the kidnapping and attempted assault of Rita Kemper, though he was acquitted of attempted murder in that case. Like, what do you think he was going to do?
It was attempted murder.
Yeah, like, that's all he does. He couldn't catch up to her. Okay, so in total, his convictions cemented him in prison for the rest of his natural life. But even behind bars, Metheny continued to spin his tales. He bragged about throwing multiple bodies into the Patapsco River and insisted his true victim count was much higher than what investigators could prove. But the Baltimore Sun reported in 1997 that detectives remained skeptical, unsure how much of what he claimed was fact and how much was pure fabrication. Metheny seemed obsessed with being remembered as a prolific serial killer, a monster whose legacy of brutality would outlive him. In the end, Joseph Metheny's true body count may never be known, but what is clear that his confirmed victims, Catherine Magaziner, Kimberly Spicer, and Gina Lynn Nichols, were stolen from their families by a man who preyed on the vulnerable, believing they wouldn't be missed, but he was wrong. In the end, Joseph Roy Metheny died behind bars on August 5th, 2017, at the age of 62. He was found unresponsive in his cell at the Western Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland. He was pronounced dead shortly after. No official cause of death was ever released, leaving questions and speculation in its wake. So I heard or saw people kind of speculating in some comment sections of some of the videos that I watched that it was probably due to his weight, like he probably had a heart attack. And then others were speculating that he took his own life. So was never
like maybe
released.
Someone snuck him drugs or something.
Maybe
they didn't bother with an autopsy because they're like, who cares?
So there's good old bad old Joe Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe,
May
sloppy
he
Joe.
burn in hell for all eternity.
He probably is.
Yeah.
But like the woman he claimed to kill, did they actually go missing? Were these women that were actually missing?
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't find any of that. Especially because a lot of them didn't, I mean, there were no names. So it's like, how do you look for people that you don't know their names?
Plus, you think within the Lady of the Night community, when they notice that their friends are going missing?
Yeah. To me, I honestly think it probably wasn't as many as he's saying, just because he lies about so many other things. And I just feel like he got caught in this loop of lies where he just is spewing whatever he wants people to think, you know? He's just full of shit. As far as the body parts and all that too, I'm like, wouldn't they have found evidence of that if he's keeping Tupperware in a freezer? Like, you would think that they would have found some trace of that. And I
Well, yeah, because there's bone, there's blood, there's everything else other than the muscle. It takes a lot. There's gases, like so much to the human body that's very hard to get rid of. But I don't think people realize that.
I feel like maybe they were half truths. Like, he would do something which was still awful, but then blow it out of proportion. Like, maybe he did eat a piece of one of them or something. And then he just blew that totally out of proportion. I don't know though, because he did have that burger stand or sandwich barbecue stand. So maybe he
But I think it's
did.
like
Maybe he did.
serial killers too. If they get caught, there's no way they're getting released, right? Because they're just either getting the death penalty or they're just life in prison. It's like, why not? And what's gross is they get fan mail that like
Yes.
soothes, like it just boosts their ego even more. And so it's like maybe that could have been a thing too, where he just liked it for his ego. So it made him like look like this bad person, like I did this and I did that, and you just stroke my ego, and I'm a really bad guy.
I feel like for, or at least I think I've heard, and this is kind of my own personal opinion too, for a lot of women who idolize these men and like fall in love with these men because of their infatuation with them and what they've done, is because they think that they're going to be the ones to change them. Like, they would never do that to me. Like, I'm the special one, you know. I'd be the chosen one that like gets them to turn around. And then I think about like the women who get idolized behind bars, and I feel like it would be for a completely different reason. Do you? Like, I don't think a
I
man would be like, "Ooh, I can be the one to get her to stop doing this." I think they just think it's hot. Like, dang, she's a badass. Like, if she can
Yeah, but
do
some
this.
men are really attracted to broken women and I think they can fix them, you know?
True. That's true.
I mean, like, look at them and Mendea's brothers. They still are married and they are in prison pretty much their entire life and they're married.
Yeah.
So explain that one to me.
Yeah.
So it just amazes me. Like, even Dahmer got so much fan mail.
Yeah.
And that's why he
Dahmer.
started bragging about stuff in prison because of all the fan mail. It's like, why do you even give them the fan mail?
Hmm. I'm amazed that these people are allowed to have stuff like that. Like, especially nowadays where you can have like social media and websites and things like that. If you're behind bars, I don't think that should be allowed.
No, like I watch Love After Lockup all the time because I'm weird. But they get on they're on dating sites. You allow them to get on dating sites. That's how they meet these people.
Hmm.
And I think that some people are drawn to that because what if it's a sense of control? Like I know where he's at all times.
Yeah.
He's not out cheating on me.
I didn't even
Like
think
you
about that.
control the situation.
Hmm.
You're there like source to the outside world. So they have to rely on you.
Right. But
And so many people with abandonment issues, it works. Like, I don't know. I don't know why people specifically go out for convicts. I can see you're dating someone for a long time, they get locked up while you're dating because they get in trouble or something and you stay with them. But like people that specifically search that out, I don't understand that.
yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get
And I'm
it.
not saying it makes you a bad person because you want to
No.
date an inmate or anything like that. I don't know why that is the people that you specifically search for. But no, they should not have the right to be on. They shouldn't have the right to the internet. You should lose all rights. You should lose all rights to mail.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you took somebody's life,
Well, that's what I mean.
you
Like the worst of the worst.
you shouldn't
Should lose all your rights.
exactly. You shouldn't get any privileges. You should be kept alive. That's it. That's it. And you atone for the rest of your life. Like, no, you're not getting an education. Come on. And, I'm sure that this is a very touchy subject. So for anybody that disagrees, you can agree to disagree and you're entitled to your own opinions, just as we are. But, like, in my opinion, I think it's just crazy after you've
No,
taken
and
somebody's life that you have any rights at all.
it's a gray area, and it's like, what if someone killed someone in self-defense? It's like there's so many different stories and all that stuff. But I'm talking like you need to lose your rights if you're literally the worst of the worst.
Yeah, like taking somebody's life in cold blood.
Like you think
And
you're gonna
rage.
rape and kill women,
Mm-hmm.
you need to lose all your rights.
Yeah.
Rape or kill children, you need to lose all your rights.
Agreed.
Because you took away theirs, so
Agreed.
you should just be like in solitary the rest of your life and with a bucket to go to the bathroom and a little slot for your food. That's all you deserve.
Yes. Completely 100% agree. Don't come for us.
No, I'm not talking like someone that went to jail for drugs or killed someone in self-defense or killed someone in rage and when they want to turn their life around because they know they messed up and because there are acts of rage. Sometimes you just snap. Like I'm not really talking about that. I'm just, like I said, we're talking about the really, really shitty people out there that they take the rights away from others. Well,
like Brian Koberger.
Oh, like he's spoiled.
Did you hear that he's trying to get restraining orders? Like he's not having a good time in prison, apparently.
He shouldn't.
Yeah, and he's trying to get restraining orders on some of the other prisoners. Like, this is what you deserve, dude.
And like spoiled on the fact that he should be doing a lot worse than what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, considering he punked out last minute and took a plea deal instead of being tried for the death penalty. Or on trial for that course. He
took the lives away from innocent college kids.
Pussied out last minute, and this is what you get, bub. This is
because he's being bullied in prison.
Yeah.
Is he being bullied?
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys?
It's like when you're.
What do you guys think about all this? Do you think we're insensitive bitches?
Listen, when you're bullied by other inmates because they know you're like a fucking douchebag, that says a lot.
Well, this is exactly what I said was going to happen because in the eyes of most of the public, those were kids. Like by all accounts, they had their whole lives ahead of them still. They were so accomplished and so driven and so like they just wanted to live life, and he destroyed that. And that's not going to go over well with a lot of these
inmates. But for what? What was his reasoning?
They still don't know. There's speculation that it was because he was reaching out to one of the victims. Like they think there was one of them that was his specific target, and that was the case because he had reached out to her and she ignored him, which was kind of a theme in his life. I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and so he wanted revenge.
He probably was creepy.
Yeah. Well, he was. He was known to be
You know how many
creepy.
people? You know how many men I've ignored because I thought were creepy.
Yeah. Many women came forward and that had run-ins with him, and they're like, he was freaking creepy, and he didn't have boundaries. Like, he didn't know when to stop. Like, when they weren't interested, it's like, get a clue, dude. Get a clue. But anyway, we're rambling on about a case that has nothing to do with what we talked about today. But it's just, I don't know. It's maddening. It's just maddening.
Hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we're just giving our opinion. That's all.
Yeah. Agree to disagree if you must. But what do you think about Joe? Do you think he was a liar? Do you think that he actually killed all these people? Email us at weeklybazarpodcast@gmail.com so we can know your opinions, even though you won't. We'll still be waiting.
Because we're always here waiting for you.
Sitting like cute little puppies in front of our computer looking at the email page and refreshing it every 10 minutes. See if we get your email.
And every time I get like a Gmail notification, I'm like, oh, okay. It's like spam or something.
So you can find us on all the social medias, Weekly Bazaar Podcast. You can email us with your stories, your suggestions. Like if there's something that you'd like us to cover that maybe we've never heard of before, that'd be cool. weeklybazarpodcast@gmail.com. You can support us at patreon.com/weeklybazar. $5 a month keeps us going, keeps us motivated to keep pumping these videos and podcasts out every single week for you guys. And we appreciate that you come back and watch us and listen to us. It means the world to us. And we are slowly creeping our numbers up on our social medias, which is exciting. So thank you for that too. And all the new people, welcome. And thank you as well as the people that have been around for a while. And if it's weird,
we're going to talk about it.
Bye.
Later.
See you later.
Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe.
Lunch Ladyland.